The imposition engine in pdfToolbox is very powerful and it can do a lot, really, but you have to understand it. And one of the things that you have to understand is the terminology that is used in the documentation and in the software. And that helps to wrap your head around how this engine does its job. So let's talk about imposition terminology for a bit. I have an example here of an imposed sheet, but what I want to do is take you through the different concepts that are used. So to begin with, every imposition in pdfToolbox has imposition configurations. And sometimes you might not see them because there are easy things like a step and repeat where the configuration is hidden. But in most cases, you will either create or use an imposition configuration. And these configurations come with configuration files. And what you see on here is an old style sheet configuration. And the sheet configuration is used to define the final size of the imposed sheet and what goes on there. But this is an old style one. As you can see, it is not JavaScript based, it is a custom scripting language. Second bit of terminology is a run list. And again, this is an old style run list, which you can tell because, again, this is not JavaScript. It is a custom language that was developed by Callas many, many years ago. And you can still use it. It is not going anywhere. But probably your life would be easier if instead you used this. And this is a JavaScript run list. In fact, the JavaScript run list takes over from the old style sheet config and run lists. It combines these both concepts into one JavaScript that you build. So what more? Well, an important thing throughout the imposition engine in pdfToolbox is that it typically has one input file and one output file. So if you want to impose multiple PDF files together, you will have to merge them into one PDF first and then run an imposition configuration on them. And typically, the imposition engine will generate one single output file. You can then use other tools in pdfToolbox to split it up into multiple files, but in general, it is one input PDF and one imposed output PDF. This is what imposition does, right? I have a single file, a single item, and that gets imposed into an imposed file. And this imposed file may contain one imposed sheet or multiple imposed sheets. All of that is under direct control of the imposition configuration that you build. We call these sheets or imposed sheets, and the sheet definition determines what the size of these sheets is, but it does more. It does also control the slots on the sheet. And what is a slot? A slot is a rectangular area on the imposed sheet, and in that slot I can either place a page from the incoming PDF file or a simple piece of text. Right? And so what you see here on this slide would be an imposed or would give me an imposed sheet, and then that has a certain width and height controlled by the sheet definition, and it has 6 slots on them. So I could place 6 pages from the incoming PDF file on it. And that could be 6 times the same page, it could be 6 times other pages, and so on. The number of slots, by the way, is not really limited. You can do with that whatever you want. Slots also don't have to be nicely one next to the other. They can overlap, and you can do all kinds of crazy things with that. And then the last bit of terminology that I want to give you is the term decoration. As of pdfToolbox 16, starting with that major version, there is the concept of using place content-like technology in the imposition engine. And that allows you to place nicely formatted text or background elements like this yellow rectangle that you see here in the background of the bottom of the page, or barcodes or lines for specific marks or rectangles. So you can add decorations on top of or next to the imposed elements that you already have, making it even more powerful. That's the most important pieces of terminology that are used throughout the imposition documentation. There is an article in the imposition chapter that explains terminology in a lot more detail, and I'll make sure to link to that at the bottom of this video.